And here we go, let me focus. Portrait photography, it's about the eyes. It's about looking into the person's eyes and having them give you something back. Sometimes it can be about the background. You can have a crazy setup. But when you task to photograph someone who's iconic, you want people to look into them, try to feel the energy they're projecting. Lean forward a little bit. Yes. Yes! The shoot with Hank Aaron, we're going to do an environmental portrait at the Atlanta Braves Stadium. And me and my crew have gotten to the stadium and we had set up and we were ready to go. We wanted to do this shot of him on the field holding a baseball bat and just looking off to the sky. But after we'd gotten everything set up and ready to go, my phone rang and the editor was saying that he wasn't going to be able to make the shoot. But he really wanted to do the shoot, so he invited us to go to his home. And we set up a portrait of him in his very beautiful living room, which has tons of portraits of him with presidents on the wall, portraits of him during the games, and just paintings. People painted portraits of him, and he has all these wonderful mementos of himself on the wall. Tilt it down a little bit like this, and turn it up a click. But I wanted to do something very simple. We set him up on this very beautiful chair, and I had him hold his bat, and I use lights as a metaphor in my imagery. I don't just put up light to illuminate. I like to reveal the subject in different layers. Well, what can we do to give a different shape on that background light? And I just had him do some very simple, quiet poses with the bat. Different hand positions. I love his hands. They're big and strong and powerful. So I wanted to incorporate that in the picture. But I didn't need to show the whole bat or anything like that, just the suggestion. And then I noticed that he was getting a little bit antsy, a little bit tired. I didn't really know why, but then we continued, and then during the last few shots, he just leaned his head towards the bat and he put his lips on the bat, and then that's why I fired one of my favorite shots of Hank Aaron. And afterwards, while I was loading up the production truck, someone told me that he had actually got out of hip surgery like 4 days before the portrait shoot. But he wanted to do the shoot, and even if he was uncomfortable and in a little bit of pain, he was just a gentleman, and he always a man of his word, and he would do what he said, and he said he would pose for the portrait for Sports Illustrated, and he did. It was just a life lesson about this guy's dignity. I've always heard about his dignity from my father, who was a Korean War, Vietnam War veteran. Mr. Aaron and my father both grew up in Alabama. They're the same age, and Alabama was a very rough place to live back then for an African-American man. And they were just trying to do the best they can for their families and themselves. So when my dad got sent to the Korean front, they didn't even have the proper weapons or the trainings to even to fight, but they were there and they did the best they could. And I guess the same thing with Mr. Aaron. My father always told me these stories about Hank when he was growing up. So my father really was a Hank Aaron fan. So I got to know Mr. Aaron, know why he has that reputation of being a gentleman and a man of grace. It's kind of hard to put into words what my heart felt when I found out that he was willing to just power through this portrait session for me, to give me the chance to grace my lens and to share his grace with me.